I'm always shouting at the top of my lungs for more diversity in video games, and I find titles for the Nintendo DS and iPod in particular are the most varied, experimental, and diverse, meaning that not every single game is about a government conspiracy or space marines. Not that there's anything wrong with either of those, but every single game does not have to be a violent, profanity-laden shooter. I like to see strategy games, puzzle games, and role-playing games, and this game is a combination of all of those. I like to give titles that don't sound like anything I'd enjoy a try, because I frequently find new games and new genres that I really enjoy. This is Night in the Nightmare for the Nintendo DS, and I can see where some listeners and viewers will love this game. For me personally, I prefer more of a pick-up-and-play kind of game, which this is not. In fact, this is probably the most enigmatic video game I've ever played. And if you think it looks cool and you have some time to put in it, Nights in the Nightmare may be the coolest game you play. Or, you might find it utterly confusing. I think it just depends on you. Let's see if I can explain this at all. You're playing the game as a wisp. And you use the DS stylus on the bottom screen to control where the wisp is moving around the playing field. The playing field is on the top screen, as you may have noticed from some of the earlier footage. This has its pluses and minuses because on one hand you're keeping the DS stylus out of the way of gameplay, on the other hand it's like you have to keep an eye on both screens. Well, at least until you get really good at the game, and then you can probably play it just by looking at the top screen. Your wisp is reawakening the souls of dead knights to confront evil. You hover the wisp over the outline of their form, it fills in, and then they attack enemies. You use a variety of items and other attacks. You dodge enemy attacks like a top-down spaceship shooter like Raiden or Musha or something. You recruit different knights by finding items that they recognize, and will join your party. Then you can level them up and decide which knights that you'd like to use in combat. A common complaint about the X-Arcade tank stick is the quality of the joysticks themselves, which are described by many as imitation, cheap knockoff HAP competition joysticks. So how about we just replace one with a real HAP competition joystick and check out the difference. It's time for some surgery. Everyone put on your lab coat and pretend like you're a doctor. It's time to cut this thing open and install a real HAP competition joystick. I bought a red one from lizardlick.com with shipping. The total came to $15. Not an expensive upgrade, although it does require some manual labor. Where's the chainsaw and blowtorch? The joysticks that come installed with the X-Arcade tank stick are those black ones, and after you play a fighting game for 2 or 3 hours, they turn into mush, something I experienced firsthand with Capcom vs. SNK 2. But even with its faults, the X-Arcade tank stick is a wonderful, well-engineered joystick that can be used for a variety of games on numerous game consoles and PC. But it does have its faults, one of which is the fact that you have to use a butter knife to pop the back of this thing open. Like putting one little handle back there would have been all that difficult. Here's a look at the inner workings of the X-Arcade tank stick. They make other joystick controllers, but I like the tank stick because of the trackball and the sheer girth of this thing. It's just really big and heavy and doesn't slide around the coffee table when you've got good rubber feet installed. I've got this propped up on our workbench here, and here's a look at the underside of the X-Arcade joystick that we will be replacing with the HAP competition model. Notice they do have a slightly different design, and you'll get a better demonstration on how they work later. For starters, you want to remember what wire goes where. I'll take a 3D picture of this using my Nintendo 3DS, because it's just sitting there. I also just wrote down the actual colors on a diagram. That's probably the better way. I would like to point out that I am a technically incompetent person when it comes to building anything. I'm horrible. I can wire a home theater with my eyes shut, but I can't fix a broken doorknob. So the fact that I actually got this done indicates it's not too hard. The nuts and take this thing off. Not too difficult. breaking things is always very easy. I'm quite good at it. There's one element here I don't even think I explained yet, which is that when you kill enemies, it's like you're using a slot machine to line them up before the battle. So you have to get a row of kill markers. Also, you select all the items before you go into battle. And the more you play the game, you definitely get more accustomed to just how the mechanics work. Certain items work with certain classes, like warriors or priests. It's a bit like a turn-based strategy game, but also like a real-time strategy game. It's really very unique, and there's so much information on screen at once in all different colors and different type fonts. It's a busy game. This game is published by Atlas, and you know I'm a huge fan of Atlas games because they take chances and put games out that nobody else would publish. I read the instruction manual twice, and it has a variety, a huge list of tutorials, in fact, to get you started with your gameplay. And that just scratches the surface. Nights in the Nightmare is the furthest thing from a mainstream title that you'll see, that's for sure. Is it my type of game? Not really, personally. I prefer arcade titles. I like shooting things with laser beams and Robotron 2084, or landing on them with my giant bird ass in Joust. And I prefer strict turn-based strategy to this hybrid combination.
I'll take you down.
This is definitely something you may want to check out if you're looking for a game that's totally different, cool, combination of real-time turn-based strategy and a lot of other things. Nights in the Nightmare.
Item gotten.
I'll hack you in two. Open fire. Enemy attack.
Maximum range.
I'll hack you in two. The warrior activate. Time's up. The wizard activate. Maximum range. Open fire. The wizard activated. Maximum range. Suffer an icy death. MP, build up. How fortunate.